Hello and welcome to the Disconnected Gamers podcast, where we reconnect with life and gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew. With me, not this time because Mike is off on an adventure of his own, but nonetheless, I have very special guest, Theo from Leaping Tiger.
Hello! Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's do this. Why don't we tell everybody what Leaping Tiger is?
Oof. Okay, straight into it. Just going right
Well,
after it. Okay.
I mean, you know what? Fine. Here we go. I'll do this.
Oh, no.
It's Saturday, July 9th.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now tell everybody what Leaping
Now, we've got the time going down. It's good. It's Sunday for me. I'm living in the future.
Ooh.
Down in sunny old New Zealand.
What's the future like?
The future is fantastic. Well, it's getting a bit cloudy.
Do you have
Never mind.
hoverboards? Flying cars?
Oh, that is the dream. That is definitely we've got lots of rollerblades and skateboards. Anyway, Leaping Tiger.
Yes.
Leaping Tiger. Ask me, what is Leaping Tiger? So at its core, right now, Leaping Tiger is a cross-platform, location-based friend-finding app for gamers, and that's the technical kind of term. You throw that out there because it's the most concise way you can kind of describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what it means is if you're jumping onto a game and you want to team up with someone, or ask them a question about single player, but maybe it's not a multiplayer game or anything really, but your friends are busy, you can check into that platform and that game on Leaping Tiger and you find other gamers nearby to play the same thing, that are currently playing the same thing. And then you message them and bam, it's an instant connection.
So it's, but it's based on where you actually are.
Yeah, it's definitely location based. You can connect with people from other cities and things,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of uses for that, really. But the heart of it is location based, and that's a lot to do with the community side that we're going into, and trying to empower gamers locally to meet up and do awesome things like events and
Right,
sort of
LAN
find other
parties.
friends, make real connections.
Right,
actual
because that's
like,
most of the people I play video games with don't even live in the same state as me.
yeah, but not to discredit online connections.
Of
Those
course.
are fantastic. But it's great being able to go out of your house and instantly kind of find people that you can connect with that like the same things that you do.
Right, which is weird because you don't often know that somebody plays, video games until you notice that they have a Pokemon shirt on. Or at this point now, anytime I see a person walking down the street with their phone out and they're looking around, I'm like, they're playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
I saw kids.
glance at the screen as you go by.
Yeah, I saw kids today, and they were 100% playing Pokemon Go because they had their phones out and they were walking towards the library in my town, which I had just driven by, and found out that is the gym because I had my phone out. And I was like, oh, those kids are going to battle somebody. But it's wild. So, what is your role at Leaping Tiger? What do you do?
I am the community manager, and everyone currently in the team, there's a whole bunch of us, but everyone in the team currently, because we're a startup, we all kind of take on various roles together. And the CEOs, Jordan and Amy, I call them CEOs. Amy's the CFO, COO. I keep forgetting. But the co-founders, they take on a billion different roles, and it's ridiculous how much they do. But I'm the community manager side, but that kind of meshes up with things like user support and assisting in some of the marketing. But yeah, the idea of the community manager role is to take care of the Leaping Tiger community, make sure they're all having fun, make sure that the feedback that they're giving about the app and that the ideas that they think about the app are reaching the developers' ears in a constructive manner, and just kind of being that bridge between the people who use and are interested in Leaping Tiger and the people that are currently building it. So,
Gotcha.
And that's been sort of infinitely helpful at helping us develop an app that everybody wants to use and think towards. So it's been a really good experience for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I won't lie, I very briefly use the app because I'm so close to the vest. I'm like, I don't want anybody near me to know what I play. But at the same time, I miss being able to play video games with people. I miss being able to sit in front of obviously in N64 playing GoldenEye, I can't do that anymore, right? I have to have people to do that. And it's nobody around me I know plays video games.
Yeah.
But it's but there's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
So, I mean, what do you want to talk about? I mean, we've briefly discussed Leaping Tiger, but I feel like we should talk about it more. But since you're the person who would know more than me, What do you like?
Um,
What like? I don't know. Like tell me something. I don't know. Tell me something.
so some of the juicy stuff, the
Yeah.
stuff that I'm not allowed to tell you.
Oh,
Trying to
totally.
you're doing the whole media thing where you're like, oh, what's going behind closed doors?
Oh, of course. Everything behind closed doors.
Everything behind
Yeah.
closed
I
doors.
feel like it's a
I
lot of
get
ones and
told off.
zeros.
Yeah, I get told off constantly by my boss, by Jordan, for saying things that I shouldn't necessarily say on social media. I'm like, yeah, we're totally looking into that, but it's like, don't promise anything, Theo. I promise I'm not promising anything. But every now and then things do slip. We've got a little panel on our wall at our office, and visitors come, and I have to be like, just instantly, just don't look at that wall. That's where the secret things are. But I can sort of talk about where Leaping Tiger is heading and the vision that we've got and all of that kind of stuff,
Okay.
which is really exciting because at its core it is a friend finding system. It's
Sure.
location based and all that kind of stuff. But the other reason why it was created was to empower local communities to group up and do interesting things, and that's kind of where we want it to head. A really powerful community tool, but also a really powerful kind of player ID, person ID, gamer ID profile thing for you. Kind of like, the ultimate profile where it's cross-platform as well. So you can track all of your achievements and trophies. You can talk to all of your friends across all platforms and all of that
Right.
kind of thing. None
It
of
takes
these are
it takes
promises.
the guesswork out of being like, "Hey, are you raiding tonight?"
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What console, and all that fun stuff.
And also when you get into a new game, being able to find a community, because I built something in New Zealand called Aspect of Gaming,
Hmm.
which was the idea of trying to unite the New Zealand gaming community because everyone was constantly chatting to each other, going, "Oh, where do I go for this kind of group, or to get into this kind of gaming scene, or
Hmm.
to start playing in esports tournaments and things?" And I was like, "What if there was a place where you could go where all that information was kind of just there?" And that kind of is very much alive in Leaping Tiger as well as a whole bunch of other things. Um, but yeah, I can't really say too much
Sure,
else.
sure, sure. No, I won't. I'm not the. I have to be like, yeah, as a media person, like I'm not gonna press because I can wait.
Yes,
I have patience. Um,
our developers are working very hard.
awesome. Yeah, I got to meet Amy and Jordan at E3.
Oh yeah, E3, yes,
It was great. It
which was
was
an exciting time.
Yeah, for me. I'd never been. I've never been to E3 before.
Oh, cool. So that was your first time,
It was
yeah.
my first time. I got to see all sorts of cool things. I got to meet people I hadn't met in person before. And it's
Oh
like
yes,
that's
that's always
that's like always like the cool thing. And it's like in and of itself that's like Leaping Tiger global for me, like going to events like PAX because it's like I use Twitter to talk to all these people.
yeah.
And then what like have things like this, right? Where we're on the podcast together talking. And then eventually at some point we may meet up at a convention and it's like that's like the best feeling ever, and I feel like that probably exists because of Leaping Tiger, just on a not quite the global scale, right? Because these are people that live near you,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
And
that's
it's
exciting.
it's yeah, like thinking about things like Ingress and Pokemon Go. We're not in the mobile space yet, but I personally really want to be.
Hmm.
I don't know where we're going in that direction. But going to a convention, especially a gaming convention or a pop culture convention for games like Pokemon Go, would be fantastic to check in there because Pokemon Go currently doesn't have a friend system or a community system or a team system
Right.
that you can kind of actually chat to people and meet them and figure out who's who. So Leaping Tiger really solves, and that's with a lot of games. So that's kind of cool that Leaping Tiger is there, that you can sort of match make between these people that with tools that aren't necessarily in the game. Although I guess it's kind of hacking the game a bit. Maybe it's not there for a reason. They don't want
Right.
people to be overpowered in teams. But for Pokemon Go
Stacking
particularly, it would be
gyms.
great to it's great to meet up with your teams and do things. But
Right. It's like I
yeah,
kind of look
and
at
at
it like
conventions is good. Yeah.
I look at it like Steam without the game, like without the actual client to play games, right?
Yeah,
Like when you
yeah,
think of like Steam allows you to see what a bazillion of your friends are doing. Granted, it's PC only or Mac,
yeah,
Mac, whatever. But it's like it's strictly just the computer's like side of it, and it's through their client. And it's like Leaping Tiger is saying, "Hey, we're outside of it. We work across all these systems and consoles, and we organize it all in effectively a very similar way."
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
So Pokemon Go, just speaking of Pokemon Go, how is your Go adventure going? It came out what Tuesday?
I
Was
think
it this
so.
week? Yeah.
Everyone at my work is playing it. And so
Yes.
they were all like, you go, because like they'd come into the break room and be like, oh, I just caught a Chansey. This is awesome. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there and it's like, I do love Pokemon. And I was like, my phone is almost full. I don't have any space. I don't really want to get sucked into this because I know if I do, I'm never going to get away from it. And of course, like later that day, I was on my lunch break and I downloaded it. So
Yes.
I only have, let's see, I'm a level 5. I have 18 Pokemon, and
good.
I gotta rate them by combat power. My highest is a 140. It's Eradicate.
Oh yeah.
It's weird. It's so weird, and somebody had tweeted about it, and I don't remember who it was, but they were like, "Man, the amount of location data that they are gathering," and that's something I'm totally like. They do know where I am a lot. Because they're they're tracking all that data. They're tracking where you check in, for the Pokestops and the gyms and all that stuff. There's a Pokestop like literally down the street from my house, but it's just so far away enough that I'd have to like get on a bike. Like I'm not walking. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd have to like drive down the street and just like circle, just to hit it, just to get some Pokeballs.
Wait for it to refresh. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait like 5 minutes, refresh, circle back around. And like I said, when I was out earlier today, like the town hall and the library are like next to each other, and it's a gym. And then there's like 3 Pokestops along the way, and I'm like, oh man, I should go by. But then I'm just like, I really don't want to do that. But the guys from work were like, yo, I was driving all over the place. I'm pulling into Dunkin' Donuts. I'm pulling into Walmart, like anywhere that they could get stuff. They were like, I'm driving all over the place. And I'm just like, man, I can't imagine the increased amount of pollution from everybody driving cars, just pulling into random people's driveways.
Yeah. There's a lot of back and forth as to how good this kind of concept actually is. I mean, you've got the very, very obvious positive where people are meeting each other, people are getting more exercise, they're
going outside,
they're going outside, all that kind of fun stuff. But then you think of like, you've got pollution,
right?
You've got people running into objects and other people and cars and off sidewalks.
I'm waiting.
Buildings.
I'm waiting for the first fatality. I get it and it's like it's funny and it's sad because it's funny because it'll be hilarious to be like person walked into traffic trying to catch a Weedle, and then you're like, but that person is dead because of that, and it's like that's not fun. But it like. I read an article where it was like one girl like tripped and sprained her ankle. One person like fell off their skateboard, and it's like, come on, don't Pokemon Go and drive. Don't Pokemon Go and all this stuff. And like I have to go ahead and say I had it on when I was in the car, and I was holding the phone. So anytime it buzzed, I'd be like, oh, there was like a Pokemon, and I would just kind of like go real slow. Like I would just roll at like 5 miles an hour and like look, tap the thing, and then I would just, then I had the Pokemon locked so that I could catch it whenever I was able to stop. But it's a weird thing that I think is gonna be an issue now. It's like now I'm not gonna be like, oh, that person's totally driving drunk. No, that person's probably trying to catch Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
And there's a weird situation.
You toot at them and you drive next to them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, get off your Pokemon Go.
Yeah. And it is a scary thought, but it is fun reading articles of X, Y, and Z did this trying to catch a Weedle. Like that just makes the article. But you're right, it is terrible. It's very tragic in a way.
Yeah, because there's no way someone, and by someone I mean multiple people, are going to get like very, very hurt, seriously injured in the process of this. And it's because you're staring at your phone, and it's you have to like, oh, I need to look to the right to see this Pokemon that's on my dashboard, and all of a sudden you plow into a car or whatever. Or the people who are like walking into the street, not stopping at crosswalks, like that. It shows how much of a focus that people have on the game, which is an interesting thing that the game is that captivating for what it is, because it's pretty basic at its core. But it's all like, it's almost like too good.
It's almost like crack.
Well, and I wonder if they'll have to like change it so that maybe when you're like staying in one place, you're more likely to get Pokemon rather than the whole like go out and explore stuff and maybe walk into traffic accidentally.
Yeah. They've got a couple of alert messages on screen. They're like, don't drive while doing these things. Look
Right.
out for your surroundings and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think if you've been walking around for 2 or 3 minutes, it should probably come up with a dialogue box saying, "Have you looked up in a while?"
Right.
Just to remind you. I
Like
don't
the
know.
Wii U would say like after like 15 minutes or something, "Do you want to take a break?"
Yeah,
And it's
quality
like,
of life features kind of thing.
yeah. And even that, right? When I was in the car, I was probably going like 40 miles an hour. It should just shut the app off. It's
Oh,
tracking me. It should know how fast I'm going. If I'm going more than 20 miles an hour, you have to assume I'm not walking,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
if you're moving at more than like a brisk pace, it should just be like, you know, capturing Pokemon disabled because you're moving too fast.
Well, I like the idea of running because I like running from node to node. And it's just getting everywhere really quickly and
Mm.
capturing and doing all these crazy things. But I'm with you there, and it was interesting with Ingress, which is the kind of the side game that it's. Do you know much about Ingress?
I know that that was how they figured out where the data points should be.
Yeah, yeah, they sort of mined everything from Ingress. So they created Ingress as well. Niantic Labs
Hmm.
created Ingress and Pokemon Go. They've been doing Ingress for a long while now, and they took all the data from that. But Ingress was the exact same kind of concept, but without the Pokemon skin and without capturing Pokemon,
Hmm.
basically. And if you were moving a certain speed, it didn't turn everything off, but it just couldn't. It literally couldn't track you, and it stopped trying to.
Hmm.
And that was kind of useful, for not having people look at their phones and doing stupid things. But they still did, they still
Right.
did. And it's interesting that people haven't kind of learned from that experience, or maybe it's just pulling in an entirely new audience with the Pokemon skin over everything.
Sure.
Um, yeah, yeah, but
It's like the
it's not.
fastest grossing free app on the App Store
Oh
in
yeah,
like a day.
ever. Yeah.
It's
Instantly getting to the top
ridiculous.
everywhere. And it was basically all word of mouth as well. It was like, let's release it. Here's a couple of articles, and then it just grew exponentially.
Yeah. Well, I
People have
thought
been
they
waiting
had
for
mentioned it
this.
was like coming, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Hey, it's out."
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, we're ready. Go ahead, download it."
I love the idea of that kind of marketing strategy and that kind of push. Just something itself can speak for itself, and Pokemon Go kind of can,
Mm.
but in the sense that there's lots in the app that you can't figure out unless somebody tells you or you experiment a crap load.
Right.
But I want Valve to do that with Half-Life 3. I really want Half-Life 3 just to hit Steam and nobody know a thing about it, and just one person finds it, everybody just downloads it, and it just goes viral instantly. I want that to be how they release
That would
Half-Life.
and it would work too because
That would
everyone
totally work.
there's somebody literally checking every day.
They
Right?
mine
There's
the
that
backs of every game that they release. Yeah.
yeah, like there's the Twitter is Half-Life is HL3 out yet or whatever, and it's just like it tweets every day no.
Every day.
I think it's
No.
every day. Is Half-Life 3. Yeah,
Well,
is HL3 out yet? And it tweeted June 24th, no. June 7th, no. May 26th, no. May
oh
25th,
god,
no. May
I'm gonna
20th,
follow
no.
that.
Uh, like
At
Notch
is
follows it.
HL3 out yet? Oh, that's
Notch follows
fantastic.
it. Yeah, a bunch of people follow it.
You just
Um,
see that every day on your feed. No. Cool.
yeah, nope, still not out.
Nope.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is like it's a cash cow, right? Like so many people
It
are
really is.
downloading it just because it's Pokemon, right? And
Yeah.
even one of the guys who came in was like, "Hey, my son keeps telling me about this Pokemon thing on your phone." And like we like briefly explained to him what it was and he was like, "No, absolutely not downloading this." Cuz like the second
No
we were
caching
like,
tracking.
well, no, it wasn't even that. It was the second we were like, "Yeah, if you don't have enough Pokeballs, like you can buy them, but if you want to get more, like
Oh,
you got to go to a Pokestop." And he was like, "Yeah, and you know what? No, I'm not going to let my son like play with my phone because he'll buy all that stuff."
yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, but, or you could just go, drive and get it."
Yeah. Well, you could just lock those payment systems off because you have to
Right.
have a credit card or something
Yeah.
as well. A
I would
Visa
assume
debit card.
I got to assume it's linked to your iTunes account or
Yeah,
something.
potentially. Or Play. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm sitting here, Android. One of the odd ones out at the office.
Oh,
We've
really?
actually got an equal split now, so it's all good. Um,
What kind of
well,
what kind
what
of
was
Android
something?
phone is it?
Oh, I've got a Zen phone too, but I've actually been using my friend's HTC something else or other
Hmm.
because funny story. The Zen phone 2, based on Intel architecture, can't play Pokemon Go. It's something to do with the way that they've built the graphics and whatever their support for different kinds of phones can't
Hmm.
run Pokemon Go. So I'm selling that and my 3DS. I'm going to fund a phone and I'm going to get Pokemon Go on another phone. This is how serious I am about this thing. But my friend let me use his HTC, and I linked my account because it all goes to the Niantic servers and everything. So I can log in on another phone, and it should all be there. It'll all be fine if I get a new phone. But
Right.
I got it yesterday, and I'm already level 9. I I ran around. I live in Nainai in Lower Hutt in New Zealand, and I
Is that like
there's about
is that a city
Oh,
area?
well, it's a minor town. It's a little town. It's outside
Okay.
of Wellington City, which is, just
Is
a
that like the see? I don't know
10-minute
New
train ride.
Zealand
Oh,
geographically.
no, yeah.
Is
It's right. It's a
Wellington
small
like a
place.
city?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wellington is a city. Right, Wellington is the capital of New Zealand.
Okay.
Yes, but it's not the largest city. So we have Auckland to thank for that. But I think
Hmm.
there are others. We've got other cities there somewhere. But yeah, it's slightly out of Wellington, small little sort of townish area thing, and we've got about 5 or 6 nodes just outside my house, and I just do a big circuit of the area and 2 gyms as well right next to us. So I spent the entire day yesterday getting to level 9 and capturing 1 billion Pokemon. I think my highest is 412 now. Um,
Dang.
so I went a little bit crazy, and I'm probably gonna go as soon as this podcast ends. I'm running outside. I'm doing it more.
You're gonna go
I'm
read.
getting to level 15 today. I'm done. I'm out. I'm
Now,
sorry.
so
I'm
do
crazy.
you? No, that's whatever. Now do you use the incense things? I haven't quite
I
figured.
do.
So when you okay, so this is the thing. When you activate it, I get that it's 30 minutes. Does it follow you, or does it activate where you activated it, and then you have to stay in that area for a half hour, or does it come with
Are
you?
you saying that because you've noticed things that stay in the area, or?
Only because one of my friends said make sure that if you know you're going to be somewhere, activate it because they seem to think that it doesn't follow you.
Okay, no, it definitely follows you.
Okay.
It definitely incense follows you. There's a thing that you can put on nodes that stays on nodes that does the same thing incense does, and that won't follow you. I don't know what
Hmm.
it's called. Incense does follow you, but it's ineffective to put incense on yourself and move around because incense attracts Pokemon
To you.
to your vicinity. Yeah, to you. So if you start moving around, it will attract Pokemon that you come by, but those Pokemon are kind of already there.
Mm.
Like you're going to walk by them anyway. So if you do put on incense, it's better to stick in one area and wait for the Pokemon to kind of come to you. It is more effective.
Hmm.
But that being said, I put incense on and walked around 9A in kind of a 1K block radius, and walking around in that kind of circle attracted Pokemon in that path, and I was able to catch more in general just by activating it and walking around in a sort of big loop. But it is definitely better to stay in one area and just let the Pokemon come to you. But if you move around anyway, like you do come across sort of the same amount of Pokemon I've found, and even the same rarities as well.
Hmm. Now, so this is another thing. Since I've got you, and you seem to
Yeah,
be an expert. On
I
the
know everything.
bottom right, when you hit it, and it pops up like what's nearby, and it tells you that they're like three, paw prints away or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So that's a distance you need to travel to get closer to those particular
yeah.
Pokemon.
I was trying to figure this out before. There's arguments going on Reddit about how it works, and people
Mm,
getting really worked up. People are getting really serious about this. It's
I
crazy.
believe it.
I'm hoping it doesn't turn into Ingress where you've got the two, because there are 3 factions in Pokemon, which I like. It's much better. You've got 2 factions in Ingress, and that was like all secret spy-y, and people were raging wars and things, and it got really intense from a social perspective, way too intense. Hope that doesn't happen here. But the steps thing. So obviously the number of steps it's denoted by 1, 2, or 3, and each one represents something like uh 500 meters, maybe something like that.
Okay.
What people are saying, like this isn't really, there's no science to it. So the more feet away they are from you, the more you have to walk towards them. And there's apparently some way to track whether or not you're going in the right direction, although some people say that's false. So if you when you tap on a Pokemon,
It like circles it.
Yeah, it like circles it and it shows up in your bottom right then as well, and it
Mm.
starts flashing. And apparently, if it starts flashing faster, you're going in the right direction, or you're nearing it. But
Mm.
some people are like, no, that's a lie. It doesn't work like that. So you
Bollocks.
just have to move. You have to stick in one. You have to start in one zone, kind of. See what Pokemon are around you. Pick a direction. And see if the footsteps reduce as you walk towards that direction,
Sure.
or if the Pokemon disappears. And if it doesn't, then you're going in the right direction. But if it does disappear,
You got to
then
turn
go back
around.
to point A and then choose a different direction. So it's all kind of roundabout. I don't. I There will be a point where you're like, I've got 120 Pokemon. I only need 30 more. And then you're like, oh, that Pokemon comes up. I'll try to get that. But until that kind of happens, I'm like, I'm just going to walk naturally, explore, have fun, keep catching. Because the more you capture the same type of Pokemon, the more you can level up that type of Pokemon. So if you capture 100 Pidgeys, you can send 99 of them to Professor Willow, and he'll
Right.
give you all these candies and things, and you can level up that remaining Pidgey that you have, and sort of make them really, really powerful. And that's how you get all the candies and level up your Pokemon and things. Um, but yeah, it's really hard to use the tracking system basically, and I don't think it's worth it you're unless you're down to like the last 20 or 30 Pokemon, and you're like, I really want to finish off the Pokedex, so you'll go in that direction.
Mm. My whole thing is like, when are they gonna do the special Pokemon? Because in that like slow teaser ad, they were like, "Oh, go to Times Square," and I'm like, I'm not driving to New York, guys. Sorry, you're gonna have to put Mewtwo a little
Special
bit
events.
closer.
Yeah, move them towards me. I don't want to
Yeah.
adventure. Maybe they'll have like I don't, this is what I'd like to happen, like having a major event in every zone or something,
Mm.
or in every city. So in every city, there's one location, and it changes every time that it happens, but one location, and they all go live at the same time, and it's a special Pokemon or something. Like that would be good because then you only have to travel to the nearest city, and it's not too harsh. Like if you're living out in the boonies, I don't know,
Right. Yeah. Like if
you,
if I
you
had to
can't.
go into Boston, that would be kind of annoying. But if it was like if it was a guaranteed chance
Yeah.
for these Pokemon, I'd be like, maybe we should go. Right?
Why not?
Maybe I should get a few friends and maybe we should go. We'll go to dinner and then we'll go get them.
Yeah, that's nice, and it can pair up with things like that quite nicely as well.
Yeah.
But that is kind of scary, and they've also got the potential because Pokemon. There's about 2 billion of them now. I don't even know. I didn't follow after Gen 1, but they've got that potential to expand into other areas of Pokemon, newer generations. So they could keep this app running for years. For God's
Right.
sake, I mean, they're probably looking at a ratio of how many people have collected all the Pokemon compared to how many people are playing Pokemon Go, and they may release it through that system as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of updates to this game and a lot of stuff coming for it. And I think they're going to improve the battle system and do all that kind of stuff. But it's really kind of bare. It's what Leaping Tiger is right now. It's really bare bones,
Hmm.
and it's building up to be this amazing kind of Pokemon adventure app thing. It's incredible.
Right. It's yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like, I wish I hadn't downloaded it because now I'm just like, I could still fight it if I hadn't downloaded it, but now that I have it, I am like consciously like, ooh, I should make sure that this is always open.
Yeah,
And now
yeah,
it,
and
it
it kills your
drains your
battery.
battery. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
But it's great. I mean, are you getting out more? Are you exercising more?
No,
Is it a
absolutely
good
not.
thing? Oh, you're
No,
not. Okay,
no,
good stuff.
no. I
Because
had it open
I
when I had
totally
it
am.
open. I had it well because I live in a small town and there's nothing
Oh,
really. It's just houses. I don't want to like walk through my neighborhood and like jump in someone's backyard being like, "Yo, I'm just trying to catch this Pidgey. Don't worry about it."
good old trespassing,
Yeah.
indeed.
And I
Just don't.
like there's something in like my backyard area and I'm like maybe
Yeah,
I should just walk into the backyard and see if I can catch it cuz it looks like it's like right in my neighbor's house,
yeah,
like on the little like map thing and I'm just like ugh, I know them. It wouldn't be that weird, but they'd probably be like, "What are you doing in my backyard?" I just don't want to deal with that.
you'd get them into the
Um,
game, and you'd be like, be on my team, and you
right.
can team up, do
Yeah,
cool
I
stuff.
had it on. I had it on in the car when I drove to go run a few errands, and that was how I found out that the library is a gym. There's a church
Mm.
in town that's a gym, and then there's like a whole bunch of Pokestops.
Yeah,
I'm bummed out that the police station wasn't a Pokestop because I would have loved to go in and been like, "Hey, just so you guys know,
yeah,
there's gonna probably be a ton of kids coming by.
yeah,
If they
yeah.
have their
Have you
phones out,
Did you see the article about the
The
Darwin, Australia police station?
Yes, I did see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to come inside to get the Pokemon.
Just stay
Um,
out.
and then there was somebody was posting a thing, and it was like a Dairy Queen, and it had a there was a piece of paper like taped to the window, and it was like Pokemon are for paying customers only. And I'm like,
Oh,
as
no,
hilarious as it is, if you
no.
look at it, you can tell that it's clearly photoshopped, and I bet you it probably said like
Yeah.
restrooms or bathrooms are for paying customers.
Yeah.
Uh,
That being said, though, I have a friend that apparently knows a friend. It's one of those situations.
mm-hmm.
A friend of a friend that knows a friend who apparently works with Niantic Labs, and they're doing this thing where they can actually sell businesses the ability to spawn a particular type of Pokemon in
In
their
their
store
vicinity.
to try and, or even I don't know if they are doing it to make Pokestops in their kind of vicinity as well. Like maybe,
Right.
but that's a great way for monetizing the app and sort of keeping it all running. But to me, it's also really dubious, and it's also like I'm just going to walk into this women's clothing store, women's lingerie store, and just sit
Right.
at the counter capturing Pokemon. I don't care what anyone says or they look at me. I'm just going to be there capturing Pokemon. No, I'm not going to buy anything.
Right. And
Nothing
and
awesome.
that's the thing, right? They're probably thinking, "Hey, if I feel like it's probably more restaurants that would
Oh,
probably benefit because it's like, hey,
oh yeah,
bring your kids so that while you pay for the meal and get food, they can refresh at the Pokestop. If you're there for an
yeah,
hour and it refreshes every 10 minutes, you get 6 refreshes, and then they get a meal out of you. And it might be beneficial to them because
yeah,
then that would be the place you want to bring kids. And that's totally not what I was ever thinking about
yeah,
prior to you literally mentioning that. But that is actually kind of like a really slick way that they could then get some extra money, right? Because there's no ads.
yeah,
And if you don't buy anything, how are they making any money? And the only thing I can think of that they're making money off of is my location data, right?
yeah. It is
They've
very
got to be
true.
doing something with it.
Yeah, it's probably all going towards Google because I'm pretty sure it's all tied into
Yeah,
into
because
Google
wasn't
searches and
Niantic
things. Yeah.
owned by Alphabet, and
Yes.
Alphabet was
Yeah.
Google's? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
slick
But that's a really good
bastards.
point. Restaurants, because you can't walk into a restaurant and just sit there. Like that's not
Right, they're
that's
gonna
not
be
okay.
like,
They'll
"Oh,
just
would
be
you
like,
like a
"Nah,
seat?"
leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll
Would
just
you
have a
like to make a
water.
cup of coffee? Yeah.
The
I'll
water
just
in the
have a
fridge. I'll
water.
just have a
Yeah.
water, and can you bring me some of that free bread?
Just only walk into restaurants with Pokestops and Pokemon that are super full, and you're just like, oh, I'll wait for a table. What's the wait? It's an hour. Cool, no problem. Walk
Right, and
out
then you just
40
decide
minutes.
after an hour, my friend's got a table at the restaurant down the street.
Yeah,
Never mind.
never mind.
Yeah, and then you
Also, you
leave.
too. Yay!
Right, exactly. Also, I have like 8,000 Pokeballs now. Yeah, that's a weird thing, and I wonder what's gonna happen in terms of like the loitering thing because I
Yeah,
believe from my friends what they were telling me, like they were literally driving around all night picking up Pokemon in random places, and they were like, I'm pulling into people's driveways so I can
yeah,
catch them because
yeah,
they're like, I don't want to be in the road stopped, so I pull into someone's driveway, I catch the Pokemon, and then off I go. And I'm just like, yeah, that might be weird if you're pulling into everybody's driveway on a
yeah,
street and someone notices it.
yeah.
And
That's
then you've got to explain
that's
to the
scary.
cops, like, hey, sorry, I was just playing Pokemon and I didn't want to, like, use my phone while driving.
Yeah.
There's no
There's
law
a
against
method
that.
to it though. There's a method to not looking suspicious. And that's just to do with moving around and staying refreshed.
Mm,
Because like in the long run, Pokestops aren't that enthralling. It's sort of about encountering the Pokemon and being able to level up your Pokedex and get more Pokemon to level your Pokemon up so you can fight gyms.
right.
And Pokestops are great for like, I mean, you run out of potions so quick, but they will basically just fill you up on Pokeballs. And there's Pokestops everywhere. So it's like you don't need to go and refresh at the same Pokestop constantly. But I can understand that from a car perspective. It's a lot harder because you actually have to drive and stop and drive and stop.
Right.
But it's much more effective walking, which is great for you because you exercising and you're
Right. And if you live in
exploring
the
and that kind of stuff.
city or something where
Yeah,
it's not as weird.
try and drive your car to a place that has a lot of Pokestops and a lot of Pokemon, and just stop it and walk around. Like it's way more effective for leveling up and gaining
Right.
experience and for finding Pokemon and stuff. But yeah, there is a technique. I have like when you encounter a gym, it's a lot harder because you have to sit outside that gym, look at your phone, and kind of can, do things. Just don't turn on augmented reality mode. As long as you don't have augmented reality mode on,
Oh,
you
you
don't
can
have to
shut it
point your
off?
camera at awkward things. Yes. So I think
Ah.
top right, you can turn it to regular mode, and it just shows like a green grassy background, and you're capturing them. But if you've got AR, you're pointing your phone at little kids in playgrounds, and that's awkward. That's when it gets really awkward.
Yeah, that was the thing, is like I don't want to be aiming my camera at people.
Yeah.
I just caught a rattata literally while we were sitting here. It just popped up.
Nice.
It's probably like a just junk level, but let's see.
Oh yeah, no, send it to Willow. Get a couple of
Oh,
candies.
it's a
Level up.
CP22.
CP22. That is low.
Yeah, most of what I've caught is very low.
Yeah. It is part of it. I think is tied to your level as well. So the more that you catch, you'll go from level 5 to level 6, and you'll start catching 150s. And I think when I hit level 8, I tried to take out this gym and I couldn't. And then as soon as I left the gym, this big Pidgeot sort of appeared and was like, "Catch me and take over the gym. It'd be great." And so I did. It was really great. He was like level 412 as soon as I caught.
Is that the only way your Pokemon take damage? Is if you do a gym battle?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I'm not super sure. I think so. But yeah, you do poker gym battles, and there's an element of skill to how you use your items as well. Because if you do a Pokemon battle and then your Pidgey's on like 1 health or something, don't feed him a whole bunch of potions. Go and find another gym. Make sure he dies in the next battle, and then use a revive on him, because you get revives in spades. You don't run out of revives at all. You get a low. You don't get many potions, but you get loads of revives. So as long as your Pokemon die, you can revive them and get them straight to half health, and not have to waste a potion from getting them to 1 health, because it takes loads of potions getting higher level Pokemon up, because the potions are less and less effective the higher CP, or the more health basically your Pokemon has. Yeah, and then you've got super potions, which are, they'll heal more, but I haven't come across them yet. I think they're like at level 15. It's nuts. But
how are you getting? Are we getting these items like every set amount of time? Is it like
no,
every day?
Pokestops kind of. It's no. Oh. If you have a Pokemon in a gym, you can get daily items, and you can start getting poker coins and stuff. It's all really it's bloody complex. It's hard explaining this. But otherwise you have to go to Pokestops, and you have to, roll a random chance of getting a whole bunch of Pokeballs. Yesterday, again, first day of me using this app, I'm crazy. I spent the entire day friggin' walking around the exact same plot of land.
You mean you spent the whole day working on Leaping Tiger?
Oh, yeah, yes. Networking. Sorry, networking for Leaping Tiger. I was meeting other Poke players and going, "Here's Leaping Tiger. You can not check in on mobile stuff, but soon, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Who knows? Go play other games." Yeah. So I was going around this single plot of land, and I actually filled up my bag. There is a limit to how many things you can carry, and I realized I was carrying like 500 Pokeballs. So I just dumped 200, 300 of them, and your Pokestops suddenly start giving you items again. I got real confused for a little while there.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm too lazy to like go out and walk. That's the thing. It's like I don't want to have to work too hard to play it. And so I'm just going to be like, okay, if I can catch a few things at home, catch a few things at work, maybe on a lunch break, go walk around the area. Because there is a Pokestop nearby where I work. And everyone's like, oh, just go on your lunch break. And I'm like, I don't want to go walk on my lunch break. That's for sitting down, because I'm standing while I'm working 90% of the time.
Absolutely. No, they haven't made the right augmented reality game for you. One day.
Yeah,
One day
it needs to be like the sitting down and everything comes to you game.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be fantastic.
Do you think if it was tied to real world currency in some kind of way, if there was some outer force that was somehow funding money going into Pokemon Go, and if you went to a Pokestop and you twisted it, you'd earn $1, would that get you to go out?
It'd have to be more than it'd have to be more than $1, because I'd be thinking like, if I have to drive to this place, it's got to be worth the drive, right? It's got to be worth the cost of gas.
Oh yeah. You could literally become a Pokemon trainer at that point, though, because you could.
Yeah, because you'd actually be training people. You'd be like, "Hey, what's up?"
I could hit 100 Pokestops in an hour. I could make $100 in an hour.
Right.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, sounds like it sounds like I was like I feel like you're leading into the CS:GO thing with the whole like
Oh,
skins and stuff for money versus Pokemon Go gambling.com.
oh
Pokemon Go
yes.
Lottery.com. We'll do it right now. We'll start the website.
Pokelotta.
We'll just properly disclose that we own it when we take people's money.
Oh yes, yes. Apart from, hey, look at this app that we found. It's great.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
Pokemon trading, I can guarantee that's going to be a thing.
Oh,
It's going to be
absolutely.
fine.
People are going to be like selling gym passes, like literal gym pass,
Oh,
We'll
God.
pay you to let you have access to this gym.
Blah.
I'll pull my Pokemon so you can win. No, the CS:GO, just to segue into the
Oh yeah,
CS:GO
yeah,
thing. I had been familiar with the lottery websites because I had seen people use them. Watched
yeah.
on stream. Somebody, because I like CS:GO. It's a fun game. Been playing it for
It's a
years.
great game.
Um, and I was always like, man, I wish I had the like money for skins that I could put into this and it would be worth it. Because like the
Mm,
most expensive thing I have is like 50 cents.
yeah.
It's like whatever. But then like a friend of mine was like, "Yo, did you see all this stuff about CS:GO?" And I was like, "No, what do what's the deal?" And then he was like, "Oh, apparently the people who were like the biggest users of it on Twitch apparently also owned it."
Yeah.
And didn't say and so this is so maybe again since you're very good, you're very knowledgeable about all these things, Pokemon
Oh,
Go,
thank you.
Leaping Tiger, CS:GO. So, from what I gather,
All the goes. Yeah.
exactly, right? You're my go-to guy. Uh, what I gather is CS:GO Lottery, whatever, you gamble your stuff, existed.
Yeah.
These group of people made it, didn't tell anybody they made it, so when they were doing it on Twitch, they potentially had the ability to rig the odds in their favor and
Yeah.
basically just take money from people.
Yes, exactly. Now,
And
there's the whole thing around it is that they could have done that, and they explicitly have said that they didn't do that. They've come out explicitly saying that, but they've lied about so much other stuff. Who
it
knows?
just leaves the door open for
It
what,
leaves the door open for it. Yeah, and they've done a lot more dubious stuff outside of that, but that in particular is what people have the most problem with, and it's got the most potential for fraud and all of that
Mm,
kind of stuff. But there isn't actually any evidence of that. It's just that a lot of the a lot of the bets that they made live on stream
hmm
were successful, and that's kind of that's a little bit. But maybe they're just really knowledgeable about the CS:GO scene, so they're really good at betting on the right things.
right.
Who knows? But the big thing overall is just that they went, oh yeah, there's this website that we found, quote unquote found. We
Right.
found it. It's great. We love it. And then they linked to this super positive experience of winning with the website and sort of encouraged everybody to go there. And that's entirely wrong. That not disclosing that you are the owner or an affiliate of this website, and
Mm.
and it's something that I have to watch out for as well when I go onto forums, or if I tell anybody about Leaping Tiger, I'm just like, I'm the community manager there. I work there. I definitely believe in this from an outside standpoint as well, but I am biased.
Right, and that's the thing, right? It's like you have to at least be like, "Hey, listen, I'm not trying to say like you should really download this app, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I work there, but I am telling you that I work
But
there."
I am telling you, yeah,
Um,
exactly. And that is totally wrong and dubious. And actually, just another thing: the guy that did the whole CS:GO Lotto thing is his account name. I don't know if his real name is T Martin, but
yeah,
his account
he's
name is
he
T
was like
Martin.
he was a pro player before he
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Cuz he always I think I might follow him on Twitter cuz he always posts about like his sweet cars and stuff.
yeah,
They all do, and I'm starting to be like maybe I should like, and I'm not a very I feel like I'm when I stream on Twitch, I'm not entertaining, maybe, or maybe I just haven't grinded along enough. But I'm like, these people have thousands of people watching them, right? And
yeah.
one of the guys that was involved in the CS:GO thing, right, Gold Glove,
Hmm.
who apparently doesn't own the site, but he's sponsored by them.
Yeah,
Because
he was a
he's
silent partner.
yeah, like
Yeah,
he's one of the people I've watched on that. He just bought like a Corvette Stingray, and
Christ.
that's like $100,000 car, like
Yeah,
100,000 US, right? And maybe you can get them for less. But I was at a Chevy dealership recently, and they had one, and I went and looked, and the sticker was like $97,000, and I'm just like, how the hell can you make that like? How can you make that much money on Twitch and all these other things? But then it's like you have a million subs on YouTube. You got, I don't know, a couple thousand Twitch subs, and it's like you start doing all this small change, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
it all adds up.
holy crap, right? Every time somebody buys a Gold Glove T-shirt or this Twitch partner or that Twitch partner, and you're like, they're getting a buck a piece, $2 a piece, whatever. And then you throw in that you're just taking hundreds of dollars from people in CSGO skins.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, it is crazy. And it's one of those things where I'm like, is it because they're greedy or is it because they just aren't business people, right? Like, is it an honest mistake that they were like, oh, I didn't realize I should have told you I own this site or I'm a part, I helped build it or something. Like, it just seems like you would want to mention that.
There is sort of an element to it where if you're not business savvy, that can be a mistake. But at the same time, it also sort of links in with your personal understanding of something, right? Your personal beliefs in something. You know that you are intentionally deceiving people. You can't hide that fact, and that still plays into someone's personality. So even if it wasn't illegal to do these things, it would still be, a socially illegal stigma.
Right.
In itself, and it is already that. But yeah, it's definitely disgusting. But on the matter of everything kind of adds up, and there's all these little things. That's content creator life, and it's the idea that you are this popular being, and now that you can do things like sell your own T-shirts, and if you're a successful Twitch sort of partner person, it's really easy to transfer those Twitch videos into YouTube videos, the Twitch highlights into YouTube videos, and instantly that's a monetary resource because people like watching VODs more on YouTube than they do on Twitch.
Right.
And it just all kind of rolls together. But there is this sort of element of there's loads of things that could potentially be dubious there,
Right, and that's like it's the slippery slope effect, right? But at the same time, it's like the slippery slope, but also the snowball effect, where like your slippery slope is that you're doing all these things and maybe you don't know enough about them that you fall into this trap. But then there's also that you've gained so much momentum you can't stop.
Yeah.
Right, and they're just like, I can't stop. Someone wants to sponsor me. I'll take the sponsorship because maybe I didn't realize that they were not maybe disclosing. And for the record, for those listening, I'm not picking on T Martin. I'm not picking on Gold Glove. That just happens to be the names off the top of my head that I know are involved. I don't want to make anybody think that I'm like picking on them.
Yeah.
For our own sake, because he has way too many people that follow him that I guarantee would be like, he doesn't like him. Let's get him, and then my inbox explodes.
They've all got their own little armies,
and it's awesome that you say that, like, you refer to them as armies, because I totally agree. It's they have their own, like, death squads, basically. It's like, in the second anyone really has a negative opinion of these people, and and again, it's one of those, it's an unfortunate effect, right? Someone says, oh, you're a Twitch streamer, you're just doing it for the money, you suck, right? And then they retweet the tweet quoting it, and they're like, yo, I don't know why you think that, but you don't have to watch, right? And then every single one of their followers sees that, and they're like, this is my opportunity to defend this guy, and they all go to bat for them. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. He did it himself. You don't need to pile onto this, because guess what? Maybe this person was just mad. Maybe they had a bad day, right? And they just decided to say something to somebody, and they weren't really thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, they get 50,000 tweets from people being like, you suck, he's awesome, I love this streamer, they're my favorite, like, they're a really nice person. And it's like, everybody needs to take a step back. And
reassess everything. It is really hard to do that when you've followed someone for so long and you feel like you know them, you're really associated with them. I can definitely vouch for the fact that when you get on a camera, or you start your stream, or you make YouTube videos, you can sort of become this different person and be able to be you can be that person kind of on stream. You can be different off stream, or there's just different elements of who you can be at different times, or what you show of yourself, and it is quite easy to do that kind of stuff. And it's also really easy to build manipulating content on things like YouTube where you can do your lines over and over again and cut between them and that kind of thing.
Right.
It's only really from the heart if you see someone looking directly at the camera and spilling out lines and never cutting anything, not stopping sort of any of their mistakes. But even then, people can be great at acting, great at kind of doing everything at once and doing it perfectly, or
Right.
just doing enough cuts so that they can do that.
Right. Well, it's like you know who
Yeah.
Casey Tron is, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's perfect, right? Like her whole thing is like a joke. It's
Yeah.
like her whole stream persona is not who she is, and she never breaks character.
Yeah.
It's like it's genius.
It triggers a lot of people, but it's
Exactly, and it's hilarious. It's so good, but people just you just like it's one of those things, right? It's like, is this who they really are? Is this the character that they're being? And I think maybe, and I don't say that in the sense that maybe there's a part of people who watch Twitch and who watch YouTube maybe they haven't had enough real world experiences with people, and it's just the nature of technology, right? We've become so disconnected that
Yeah.
you lose sight of that so easily.
Yeah.
Like I hate how disconnected as a society technology has made us, right? Like, but in a
Yeah.
weird way, we're having a conversation across oceans. You're in the future. And technology gave us that, but at the same time, like, I don't really talk to anybody in my local community that play video games because I don't know who does, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I know
We're gonna work on
anybody.
changing that.
Yes, through Leaping Tiger.
Yeah, but yeah, technology is interesting. It's both binding, disconnecting, and connecting, and it's all these kind of things. But I feel like we're all learning how this all works, and we're trying to build towards a more connected society through technology. We've understood these issues, and we're trying to fix them. There's so many initiatives, great initiatives out there in the world today that are trying to fix the whole connect problem of current age technology. But just going back to CSGO Lotto, all of that kind of dubious stuff that's sort of happening, it's sort of sad for two reasons. Because you mentioned real early on, CSGO is a great game. It's so fun. It's
Agreed.
really easy to play, jump into, get connected with. You're working as a team, and it's really quick and rapid. I'm a big P90 player, Pro 90. Everybody can hate on that. I don't care. B-Rush Pro 90. And the saddest part of this entire system, I feel, is that Valve has kind of enabled all of this, and that's
Right.
another part of technology is its potential to do a lot of harm for the greater good or for a lot of good, because a lot of the systems Valve has put into place of being able to purchase cases and get skins and create trading is a really good community dynamic. But as soon as you create a technology, humans are just innately going to find a way to screw it up, and if they can, they will. And that's exactly what's happening here. And you could take away a lot of those elements from Valve just by locking off the API to people. You could still have trading, but just not let people access the API in different ways,
Right.
and just create that community system only on Steam. But they just don't seem to be acknowledging this, and they also don't seem to be acknowledging all the cheating and everything. And it's just
right. Well, they did.
like,
They occasionally. I feel like they. Valve has always been very closed doors to the public in what they do, and then the only times that I think they ever really do anything is when the general public is pounding so harshly at their door that they have to. Right, when they ban those pro CS:GO players because they took a dive. Like the one team agreed to lose so the other team could cash in, and then they all split the difference anyways.
Yeah.
And it's like that defeats the whole point of what everyone in the gaming community has always been striving for, right? It's never been about winning. It's been about having fun. And then you build this competitive system where you enable players to be able to excel at something, right? Something they want to do, play it professionally, potentially, and in many cases, earn a living doing it. And then you do this cheap shit where you allow yourselves to lose a game just to split a difference between someone else. Like, hey, I don't want to lose and not get anything for it.
Yeah.
So, hey, we'll lose. We'll win the first game, and then we'll let you stomp us. But we got to split the winnings. And it's like It's disheartening. It's
Yeah.
super disheartening because I'm like, man, I really appreciate the hustle and I appreciate the amount of dedication it takes to get from, the average everyday player to being professional in the spotlight, performing at all these competitions and all this stuff. And you have to be really good at the game.
Yeah. Legitimately good at the
Yeah,
game.
like legitimately good at the game, and then you, not only are you legitimately good at the game, but then you engage in this nonsense.
Mm.
Makes the people who already have a disposition of not liking games or believing in them as like a real profession even less likely to be like, oh yeah, my kid wants to be a professional league player.
Yeah.
It's like they only have to read the one bad thing to just completely throw out all the good stuff.
Yeah, which is ironic considering, the news is basically just that about the world. It's sort
Right,
of like, why don't
exactly,
you hate
yeah.
a lot more stuff? Um, but yeah, and it's also the system of humans kind of like drama, and
Yes,
they
we
also
do.
like bad stuff. They like bad stuff happening because it's engaging and it's good to crap talk with your friends and be like, oh, well, look at this terrible situation. So
Mm.
I think that's a lot of the reason why Valve don't really acknowledge all of the bad stuff that happens around CS:GO because it's great for them and it's also fun fun for everyone. So it's sort of like why not let everything just kind of continue and mull over because the community isn't rising up against it because it's so much fun to talk about and react to.
Right.
But there is that kind of that line crossing, which is match fixing, as you just mentioned.
Right.
That's a big line cross in the professional esports scene, just in any game.
But even in regular sports, right? Like in
Yeah,
the Olympics, in a tennis game, in a baseball game, like nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see it. It's like and it's one of those things where it's like sports and esports, they're the same thing. It's just a difference of whether or not you want to play it fairly.
yeah.
And then they don't. And then you're like, oh, come on, guys.
You're just making it worse.
Yeah, you're not doing yourself any favors. Especially, and it's the same thing I always say, like, you're making good money. Like, is it about the money, or is it because you really are just not maybe a good person, right?
Yeah,
Because it's like you're already at the top of the food chain when it comes to these types of things, and it's like, and then you do this stuff anyways.
mm.
Really not inspiring young minds to do it. But then there's kids who still idolize these people,
Mm.
and I'm just like, I wish it didn't happen,
Mm.
but I don't, But yeah, Valve just kind of is just like, well, people are probably still gonna buy CS:GO.
Yeah,
It's still always on the bestseller list on Steam's client, and I'm just like, millions of people play this game,
yeah,
and millions of people probably never engage in the skin betting and all that stuff, but that small percentage that do are now rightfully angry
yeah,
about it. It's like
definitely.
I'm not tweeting about my new sweet cars that I've got potentially from the money that they took from all these people who bet skins.
Yeah,
I just wish I could get some cool skins when I unlock boxes.
yeah. No,
Or
it's very
people.
hard. The very low chance.
Yeah, and then and then this is the thing that also grinds my gears, but it's just a matter of they've reached this level of success, right? Where like somebody starts up a stream and they're like, "Yo, I'm just going to do an unboxing for an hour."
Yeah.
And people throw money at them to
Oh,
open boxes. They're like, "Hey, here's $5. Get a case and a key." And I'm like, "Yo, can I have $5? Can you just throw like $5 my way so I can do one?"
that's a
Just
crazy
one.
phenomenon.
Yeah, like they give you money. Like, oh man, I watched somebody opening Hearthstone packs, and they were like, "Oh, I've got 5 or 6 packs, so like we'll start the stream with opening them, right?" And in the process of opening them, somebody donated $50 to buy like the $50 amount of Hearthstone packs, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is so much fun! I hope you get something great. Here's $50." And I'm like, "How much money do you make?"
Are you
Because I
insane?
need to do whatever it is. I need your job. I need to do whatever it is you do. Like, I always want to walk up to people that have really nice cars and be like, "I'm sorry, I just have to ask you a question. What do you do for a living? Because I need to be doing that if this is what you drive every day."
Yes.
You know?
Or just, if you're the streamer and you get enough of those people, then that's what you're doing every day. If you're T Martin, you've
Right.
got all your cars.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and I'm
Just
not, and
fault
I don't.
people. It's great.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Like and it's not like I hate on people who are successful. I don't. I think that
Yeah.
if you've got the dedication, you've got the hustle, you've got the struggle, you deserve everything you get.
Yeah.
However, when I find out that you've been potentially swindling people by not disclosing it, and even from a weird perspective, I wonder if that affects them on YouTube as well, right? Because on YouTube, when you upload a video, there's a checkbox for if it's a sponsored thing. And I
Yeah.
wonder if now they're going to get some heat from YouTube because they post these videos of they post highlights from streams or whatever, and if all of a sudden there's highlight videos of all these lottery things, technically I would think they now have to go back and like recheck those as sponsored content, right? Because you co-own or found it or whatever that content. It's like it's one of those things where I always say it's gonna set a precedent because this is really the first time it's happened, and I'm curious to see what happens. And I'm glad I'm on the outside of it.
Yeah, I mean, T. Martin just has gone and deleted a whole bunch of his videos. He's just gotten rid of everything. So I mean maybe that is the best thing for this situation.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what YouTube said. Like, hey, listen, you got to delete it all.
Yeah.
And if
or
you
it could
if
also
you
be construed as running.
yeah, and and then like I wonder if because I think there's like now like a class action lawsuit against them or against the site, right?
It's pretty crazy serious what situation they're in. They could very seriously go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, that's justice for you, right?
Right, that's the way it works.
Kind of catch up.
Yeah,
that is the way it works. But
so
then,
just be wise,
there may be a
kids.
lot of sorry. There's a lot of that in the world, I feel, anyway, for people getting rich and sort of being successful. And it's not being jealous of people who are successful. There's a lot of people that very genuinely deserve it and they've worked very hard. But there is a lot of elements of, dubious stuff going on behind the scenes
See, I just play the lottery.
Loads of money. Yeah.
Do you guys have the lottery?
Don't have money, just play Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Do you guys have like lottery in New Zealand? I assume you must.
Yeah. We've got our own little lotto systems and big Wednesdays and scratchies and what have you.
See, I used to do scratchies all the time. That was like my thing. I'd always like, once a week go to the store, get like $20 worth. Scratch. Yeah. If I win, reinvest. Lose most of the time.
Yeah.
But now I picked my numbers and I just play like 3 of the different lottery games we have a week, and that's it. That's my thing.
It's a good dream. You got to be in to win.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Wayne Gretzky always said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Like, I know people who are like, I only play when the lottery is over like 200 million, and I'm like, yo, I'll take 50. I'll take 1 million. That's fine by me. It's like I'm not. I always play when the jackpot's super low because nobody else is playing.
Nobody else plays. Yeah, you got a higher chance.
I got a better. You got a.
Depending on the system.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes the chance is identical.
Right. Yeah, it's like 1 in 200 million. It's like, so if everybody in the country buys a ticket, everybody in the United States, I should say. I don't know how many people are in New Zealand. Do you know? You seem to know a lot, so I figured you might.
I am terribly unknowledgeable. There's probably, I don't know, a couple of thousand. No, there's a good few million of us. There's not many.
How close is New Zealand to Australia?
It's about a 4-hour flight.
Oh, okay. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, so it's pretty damn close. But it's not so close that you can just, take a boat over there and just have a visit. There's probably you probably can't take a boat, but it's not gonna be that quick.
Now, do you go to PAX? So there's PAX Australia. I assume I know there's no PAX New Zealand. Do a lot of people from New Zealand go over for PAX Australia?
Yeah, there's not much in New Zealand. Basically, we have Armageddon, which kind of combines everything, and it's kind of Comic-Con and Anime Expo and E3 / PAX / everything all in sort of one, and it kind of dominates the scene, which isn't necessarily that bad because it can grow and create bigger things and have splinter kind of brands and things because we're such a small community. But EB Games Expo, PAX Expo, RTX Australia, all of that kind of stuff. Going over to Australia, a lot of people do. It's not that expensive to head over to Australia for the weekend and sort of get a room or hold up because it's really easy to make friends in Australia as well. The Australian gaming community is thriving. It's really, really great. And so it's easy to find gaming friends in Australia when you're in New Zealand because you connect on the same servers and you
Hmm.
just kind of chat to people. And so it's easy to find a place to stay, and you just go over there, crash on someone's couch, and head to all of these conventions. I haven't been big on doing that because I've never been in a great situation where I can be like, yeah, let's just take a casual weekend off
Right.
and go on a trip. But I'm definitely planning on going to PAX this year, 100%.
PAX Australia.
PAX Australia, yeah.
Okay.
PAX worldwide, why not?
PAX. Hey, I try. I'm
PAX
gonna
Australia.
try. I want to go to PAX Australia really bad,
Yeah,
but it's a
yeah,
little more expensive than because I gotta fly. I think I have to fly to California and then I fly
true,
to Australia.
true. See if you can make it though. It'd be great to meet you.
It would, yeah. No, it'd be a blast.
Yeah, and I think Amy's heading over
She is.
to PAX West
Yes, she
as
is.
well,
Yes,
and
she
I
is.
think they're all coming to Australia. Yeah.
She well,
Oh,
so
are you two doing a panel together?
yes, we are.
Yes.
So yeah, and I haven't. It's no secret, but I haven't said anything on Twitter because I got to make like a banner and stuff. But yeah, so we're there was a panel we did at PAX East, and it was myself, Craig from Able Gamers, Steven from Stack Up, the military charity, and then a friend of mine, Jason, and we did this panel on positivity, and spreading the positive vibes of gaming.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we did right now. We had a positive
Yeah.
discussion on things.
Shout out
And
to Games Done Quick this weekend, I think it was.
yeah,
or,
Super
or
Games Done
throughout
Quick.
this week. Yeah.
Or is it
Gaming
no?
Kitchen.
Is it just Games Done Quick and then it's Summer Games Done Quick? I don't know.
Yeah. This is like the summer iteration of Games Done Quick. Yeah,
Oh, I love it. It's always fun.
it's great.
So we did this panel and then they were like, "Hey, we should do it again at PAX West," and I was like, "Okay, why not?" So we resubmitted it, and then I asked Amy if she wanted to be a part of it because Leaping Tiger, in and of itself, is promoting that same kind of idea, right? Positivity, connecting with real people, building new relationships, making more
Yes.
friends, and building that. I say building that gaming family because effectively, the people I know in the gaming community, in some cases, in many cases, I trust more than people I've known in real life, like from grade school.
100%. Yeah.
And so, yeah, she was totally on board. I found out this morning. So like today, I woke up and had an email that was like, "Hey, you're confirmed. Like it's a go. Your panel's been
Yes.
accepted." And I was like, "Ah!" And so I started emailing everybody, and was like, "Yo, we're good."
Yeah.
The cool part.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The cool part is that I had another panel that I had submitted for, and that one also got accepted.
Oh wow.
So I'll actually be on two, and this is like humble brag. I'm actually going to be
Yeah.
speaking on two panels at PAX West.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm now 4 for 4.
Nice.
I did one at Prime in 15. Then I did one at East this year, and now I'll be doing two at West.
The people want more.
Apparently, and it's so weird because I do this a lot. It's like I refer to it as small media outlet syndrome
Yeah.
because it's just me and my buddy Mike that co-hosts on the podcast, right? And we're not very big. We don't have 1 million Twitch followers. We don't have 1 million YouTube subs. We create content when we can, and we love doing it. But it's one of those things where I'm like, it's weird to say that I've spoken on panels at PAX. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to say that something I wanted to do has reached a bigger group of people, and it's just weird. And I'm hoping that all of a sudden it's that I get the snowball effect, and I just rise to the top, and then I can buy myself a Corvette Stingray.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
that's the goal, everybody. Just give
You
me
complete
all
it.
your dollars so I can buy
Yes.
a supercar.
So that he can adventure more. He can go out and he can catch more Pokemon nodes.
Exactly. I can instead. You know what? I won't buy a Corvette Stingray. I'll just buy bazillions of Pokeballs and
Yeah.
potions and incense so that I can just get all the Pokemon and never have to leave my house.
Exactly. So you can own the world.
I'll pay for a chauffeur. I'll pay for a chauffeur to drive me around.
Yeah. And you'll have 5 different phones, and you'll be able to dominate the gyms. It'll be fantastic. That's the real Pokemon
Has
dream.
anyone done that? Has anyone logged in on 2 different phones
They-
with the same account?
No, not with the same account. No, they'll have 2 different phones with different phone plans. There are people out there with like 3 phones connected to Ingress, and they'll go and they'll have like spies and different factions and things, and be able to capture different nodes. So I'm sure they're going to do that in Pokemon as well. It's crazy. And then they get all their battery packs and I'm getting away on myself again.
Are
Don't
you
let me do
you
this.
need to order a battery pack to keep your phone charged,
Oh, I
don't
have
you?
one. I've got one from the Ingress days. I was only into Ingress for like a month, but I've got a 20,000 milliamp battery pack,
Which
and
charges your phone
it's
forever,
great.
basically.
Yeah. It keeps it going for a good 4 hours
That's crazy.
with everything on full. And I turn on all the battery saving stuff as well, and
Dim your
just
screen
like
to like nothing.
yeah,
You know
and you
what's
got to wean out
when
all
you
the
when
all the
you
power.
when you turn your phone upside down, does Pokemon Go like black out the screen?
Oh, if you turn on power saving mode in the settings, top right,
Yep.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And so
that's
I
what that's
definitely turn
for.
that on and then I turn it upside down. Yeah. And it still vibrates if a Pokemon comes near you. So
Because I
you
couldn't
don't
figure out
feel
why it
this.
wasn't doing that, and that was the
Yeah.
weird thing. Because everyone was like, "Oh, if you turn your phone upside down, it won't kill your battery." And my friend was like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, because it shuts off the screen." But I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yay. I also make sure that I turn on screen never goes off so that because if it does, it disconnects your GPS and it doesn't track what happens in the game. So turn your phone always on and then turn it upside down for battery saving mode, and then you'll constantly be alerted by Pokemon and stuff.
Ooh, so
It's
you got all the tips and tricks.
all the bloody time. I've been watching all the tips and tricks videos. There's
Don't
so
tell
much
anybody that.
information
Just
out
tell
about it.
everybody you figured it out on your own.
I
I'll
figured
edit
it
that
out.
out. I'll
I
edit it
spent
out.
one
Nobody
day
will know.
walking around my neighborhood and I figured it all out.
Yeah,
I could
you
take a
had.
lot about the battle system, but I'm not going to.
Well, any closing thoughts on Leaping Tiger? You should pitch it. You should tell everybody how they can find it, how they can get it, what it's available on.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, thank you. So leaping-tiger.com is the best place to sort of find out all information about it, but you can get it on Android, you can get it on iOS. And for Windows phones and all those other phones, you can use the web version, which is web responsive. And then you can also sort of make a shortcut on your desktop with your phone, and it works just like an app.
Mm.
But that is sort of out of the way. The app experience is incredible, and the apps are kind of they're jumping ahead of the web app, but it is there if you want to use it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very very versatile. So yeah, App Store, Play Store, Leaping Tiger, and it's all there and it's all good to go. And stepping off from what you were saying about packs and the positivity in gaming panels,
Yes.
this is the whole reason that I joined Leaping Tiger. Jordan and Amy really had the idea and the passion of positivity in gaming, trying to connect people, what games can do to help connect people, because it takes away, race, creed, nationality, sex,
Oh,
gender.
absolutely.
It takes away all of that, and you just connect with somebody's personality, and you can really kind of meet people that you wouldn't think of ever meeting, and it also helps you with kind of prejudices and things, and
Right.
it's like Leaping Tiger is just trying to encapsulate this positivity of gaming and helping it grow. And that's like if you want to support that and you also want to keep track of all of your gaming activity and also meet a whole bunch of cool gaming friends and everything, get Leaping Tiger. Help us grow.
And yes. So
Oh, and I'm Snowy Padre, so you can follow me at Snowy Padre. Also at Leaping Tiger HQ on Twitter.
yes. Oh, I was
That's
gonna
it.
tell you. You need to update your Twitter profile because you have at the Leaping Tiger on the thing, and that's not the correct because it's
On the
at
thing, on our profile,
on your Twitter on your
on
Twitter
my
profile.
my personal Twitter. I'm going to do that right now while we're doing this.
Yes.
And also, thank you very, very, very much for having me on this podcast and having us talk about all of this. It's been fantastic.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was. This was fun. I learned so much about one Leaping Tiger and two Pokemon Go. Plus, you're actually a fantastic person to talk to.
Oh, cheers! Thank you so much.
I feel like we would
Likewise.
get along very well. We need to add. Are you PS4 or Xbox?
I am a PC sinner.
That's fine. I have a
I
PC.
I want to be in the world of consoles. It's just very expensive to be there.
Well, isn't it like way more expensive in New Zealand too? Like, aren't games like $100?
Oh yeah, games are quite expensive, but I have systems. I've got ways. I haven't got dubious ways,
Mm-hmm.
but I have ways of playing games with friends in different ways, and also Steam sales are great.
Oh,
Good
the
for
Steam
gaming
sales are
budget.
fantastic.
Play lots of indie games, lots of the free titles. I'm very good at free to play games. I'm very good at playing free to play games and not spending a dime. I'm one of those people that play free to play games, never spend a dime, but I'm very good at networking everyone inside those free to play games. So
Yes.
I kind of do the developers' work for them, even though I don't spend a dime. But
Can I
yeah,
do a secondary shout out?
yeah, yeah.
Do you know Dry Cactus Games? They're in New Zealand.
Dry cactus.
Do you
I
know the
had a
game Polybridge? Okay.
Polybridge.
Yes, Polybridge. Dry Cactus Games. It's a
Check that.
love.
Oh, that
It's
looks
a.
fantastic.
It's
It
a.
looks a little bit
It's
like World of Goo.
it's amazing, and the music is awesome. But He's in New Zealand.
Oh,
The
yes.
guy who made it. He's in New Zealand, so I feel like you guys should connect with him and be friends.
I am going to check that out. I'm going to pass that on to Jordan. Thank you.
Only because I'm almost 100% certain he's in New Zealand, so I had to type it up
Yeah.
and
There's a
quickly check.
thriving developer scene here. It's incredible what people are working on.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? It's like, and you meet all these people when you go to these conventions and when you go to these things, or when you just start looking, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's tons of people that do the same thing that I do, and it's like
Yes.
game jams, right? Like, and I don't want to be the guy who's like, you should do this because what do I know? But you should totally find a way to incorporate game jams into a thing that you guys connect people with, and maybe you're
Yes.
already doing it, and I won't press you any further because I'm not that kind of person. But you should probably
Secrets.
look into that.
Yeah.
But
Do a lot of visiting game jams and talking to them. So there may be something out there. Maybe something in the works. Yeah.
So let's recap. At Leaping Tiger HQ on Twitter.
Yep.
Leaping-tiger.com on the web.
Yep.
Available on the iTunes App Store. Available on Google Play Store.
Leaping Space Tiger there.
Yes.
The hyphen has caught us off guard. It's a big URL battle that we're fighting. Never mind.
Why is there a leapingtiger.com?
There is, and we need to find a way to break through that little hurdle.
I imagine that hurdle is money.
It is.
Someone
it is a
wants
big
to.
money.
Someone's like, "Oh, you want this website that I have that I don't use anymore? Pay
There's
me."
also begging. There is also begging.
Begging is a good. That's a good starting point.
High five.
Yeah. And you are at Snowy Padre.
I
All
indeed
one
am,
word.
and I fixed my Twitter profile.
Refresh. Nailed it.
Ha ha.
So, with that, I thank you for your time because this was really fun, and I hope you see a slight increase in downloads of Leaping Tiger. I cannot guarantee that thousands of people will flock to the website, but for those that are listening, I think you should definitely check it out. You should definitely go download the app if you have one of those types of devices. And I think we're, unless there's any closing things you want to say.
Oh no, just likewise. If anyone from Leaping Tiger is coming and checking out DGCast for the first time, go and check out other podcasts by them. Have a little subscribe. Have some fun.
Do it because as the great poet Shia LaBeouf once said, do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the DGCast on Twitter, at twitch.tv/DGCastTV. Do you guys have Twitch?
We do, and we're planning. Well, sorry, I won't say anything else.
Fair enough.
I'm terrible. We want to do a lot more streaming stuff, but we've had a lot of fun with Q&As in the past.
Okay.
So maybe we can do a little collaborative stream thing with DGCast as well.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Absolutely. 110%.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody, thank you for listening. As always, you can listen to this over and over again if you'd like. And I'm totally blanking because normally Mike ends the podcast. But that has been episode 72 of the Disconnected Gamers podcast. I thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the flip.
Stay positive, gamers.